Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at something pretty unusual.
Definitely catches the eye.
Yeah, it's the story of Father Vincent Lopez. He's a 94-year-old Dominican priest out in California.
And he wants to be pope.
Exactly. He's announced he's running, so to
Yeah.
speak. We're working off a news article that covers his announcement, his fundraising, the whole thing.
Hmm.
So the big question for you, listening, is really twofold. Can someone that age realistically become pope? And, well, what's Father Lopez's angle here? What makes him think he's suited for it?
It's fascinating. I mean, the first thing the article touches on is the actual, the legal side, canon law.
Right.
And it basically says any baptized Catholic male is eligible. That's pretty broad.
So
Technically, yes. Now, historically, it's almost always cardinals, right?
Right.
But the rule about cardinals over 80 not voting.
Yeah.
Well, there's apparently no rule saying they can't be elected. It's a loophole, sort of.
A pretty significant loophole if you're 94. And Father Lopez seems aware. He's quoted saying, "In God's kingdom, anything is possible."
Mm-hmm.
And he adds that he thinks ageism is a sin, which is quite a statement to make in this context.
It really is. It flips a potential negative, his age, into a point about faith and, fairness. He's using church law, but also making a moral argument.
And then there's the practical side, getting to Rome for the conclave, whenever that might be.
Which costs money.
Yep. He started a GoFundMe,
Yeah.
aiming for $25,000. Apparently this kicked off after some mistaken reports about Pope Francis's health.
Ah, okay.
The money's for business class flights for him and what the article calls a small entourage of a dozen disciples.
Oh, it doesn't. Wow, okay.
Plus food and lodging for 6 weeks. He apparently picked that duration because it's the average length of a good old-fashioned papal stalemate.
Aha! That's quite specific.
Right, and he even joked, it adds up quick. It's not like I can turn water into wine. Not yet.
That crowdfunding bit, it makes this huge ambition seem weirdly relatable, down to earth.
Yeah, grounded is a good word. It brings it down from the purely theoretical.
Mm-hmm.
But who is this guy? The article calls him Padre Lolo, locally. Sounds like a bit of a legend.
Seems like it. For decades, he's been clipping coupons.
Coupon?
Yeah, like seriously clipping coupons to buy basic stuff necessities for people on Skid Row.
That's incredible dedication.
And he does these discount dinners for his parishioners, too. Apparently, everyone leaves with these gift baskets.
Not just, like, holy cards.
No. Practical things. USB chargers, batteries, stuff like that. His reason, you just never know what you'll need. That's theology.
Wow. Okay. That's a very practical theology.
Right.
It blends the spiritual with the everyday need.
It does. And it suggests, a long history of very hands-on service, understanding people's actual lives, maybe different from the typical Vatican career track.
And it's not like he lacks the priestly credentials either. The article lists quite a resume.
Yep.
Running over a dozen Catholic schools, performing more than 1,000 masses, being the family priest for generations of families on the West Coast.
So deep roots in the community.
Deep roots. There's even a funny detail about him asking to be kept updated on Rams games back in the 70s as part of his duties for one family.
That's brilliant. Humanizes him even more.
And it mentions him doing sacraments, like Mass, in people's homes if they were, too hungover or too far from proper church.
Okay. Meeting people where they are, literally.
The article kind of hints that, in a way, he feels he is already doing the job, just maybe without the official title, operating outside the usual structures.
Which does make you think, what kind of leadership, what kind of pastoral care is really needed today? Maybe it looks a bit different.
He also seems pretty funny about his age. Says his parishioners think he's barely 90.
Wishful thinking, maybe.
Maybe. And he feels like after 60 years of saying Hail Marys, he's, quote, earned a big hat and a week off.
It's refreshing, that self-awareness and humor. Take some of the, the solemnity out of the papal discussion, but in a good way.
So, wrapping this up a bit, we have this 94-year-old priest, Padre Lolo.
Mm-hmm.
He's basing his run for Pope on a reading of canon law, crowdfunding his trip to Rome.
Complete with his dozen disciples.
Right. And he's highlighting this lifetime of really practical, hands-on community service and a broad range of pastoral work. It's definitely not the standard playbook.
No, it's not. And what's really interesting, I think, is how his story pushes you, the listener, to think about leadership more broadly.
How so?
Well, it makes you question what qualities truly matter for big leadership roles, whether it's the church or, any major organization. Is it just about the traditional path or the age number?
Or is there real value in lived experience in decades of direct action that maybe we overlook?
Exactly. Does wisdom, or maybe just that deep connection he seems to have, offer something vital? Should age automatically be a barrier?
It's definitely a provocative thought to leave people with, something to mull over beyond just this specific, very unusual candidacy.
For sure. It's a great story to dive into.